Yo, what is going on, you deodorant needing dearly? Today, we're playing some games with the Ice Rider, which might be the better of the two Calyrex. I don't know for sure yet, but I was playing it out the other day on stream, twitch.tv/AzulGG, and Ice Rider felt pretty good. And this build specifically, I'm bringing the Crushing Hammers, because Crushing Hammer, I feel like, is so powerful in the current meta, and also a fan of waves, because I love to include the fan of waves when I'm playing the Crushing Hammers. So we got the fan of waves in there as well. And of course, the card that is not here to kind of make space for those is the Pats of the Peak. 0 Pats of the Peak in this build. Some people have still been running a couple of them, like 1 or 2, and I think it's still probably reasonable to try and consider including a couple, not just as like a way to kind of shut down your opponent's side of things, but also as just kind of a way to have a stadium bump, you know, for stuff like Galare Mine against Leafeon or stuff like that. So definitely worth still probably including some Pats to the Peaks if you're not playing Crushing Hammers. But because we are playing Crushing Hammers and that fan of waves, we had to find some space somewhere, and the Pats to the Peaks just had to go. Of course, a lot of the other stuff is just kind of standard Ice Rider stuff, you know, the Inteleon line, 4 Melanie, couple research, couple Marnie, couple boss. The new addition here, though, with Evolving Skies is that Suicune V, which is such a powerful addition to the deck. Being able to attack on a turn out of nowhere, whereas before you needed to have like the Calyrex V to set up into the VMAX, is just so strong. So whether that be on your first turn, you go first, you whiff the Calyrex V, but next turn you're able to get out a couple Drizzles, draw into some different cards, and be able to pull out like a Melanie to a Suicune, get Suicune into the active attacking on all in one turn is just such a powerful play to have, such a powerful option to have access to. Suicune really does help this deck a lot. So Suicune has been a great addition. I've seen quite a few lists out there that are playing like more heavy towards the Suicune thing, Suicune line, like 3 Suicune, and then like a 2/2 Ice Rider Calyrex, which is like not a build I've tried out, but I definitely think I want to try that build out as well. There's like a lot of different Ice Rider builds going on. There's also like the Metacham build where you play towards heavily using Yoga Loop to like reset your turn and then have another turn and then kind of go from there. So another build that would definitely be worth trying out. But I've been rocking the Suicune build, and it's felt pretty good. Or this build with the Crushing Hammers with 1 Suicune, and it's felt pretty good so far. I've been loving it. So yeah, that's the list. I don't think there's anything else for me to really say about it. Crushing Hammers are good. Let's get into some games. All right, got the luck on our side as we do win the coin flip here to be able to go first. And the hand is pretty good as well. We'll see what our top deck is, because that could definitely change things up a little bit. It is a bucket, so I am quick balling away the bucket here. I'm going to go ahead and grab ourselves a Ice Rider V, and then take a quick look through the deck. We have most of the things we'd ever want here. We are up against Shadow Rider, which I was just talking about in the intro a little bit. We don't play Path to the Peak anymore, so that's definitely going to hurt this matchup a little bit for sure. Not going to lie. Yeah, this matchup is definitely going to get hurt a little bit. Oh, I didn't check for I was going to check for Scoop Up Net, and I just didn't check for Scoop Up Net, because we can go next turn. Just that, whoa, Mincino, Shadow. What is going on here? Now I really want to see their deck, but we do have the turn to attack if we have the Scoop Up Net in the deck. Let's check for that Scoop Up Net. Scoop Up Net's there, so we can go just out Scoop Up Net, Evolution Incense. Well, could we go like... We could go Quick Ball this, but we should just get the knockout here and then have the Melanie for the next turn, I think. Makes the most sense. So yeah, we're going to get this Scoop Up Net, and then we're going to go ahead and grab another Evolution Incense, get out the VMAX, and then just knock out this V from our opponent. Oh, no! Well, looks like we're going to be seeing a little bit more of my opponent's deck than I had anticipated. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a Quick Ball. Now we're going to go with the Melanie play. Yep. That was not as planned. Not as planned. So let's go with the Melanie first down to the V. We got the VMAX, but of course, I sent up Drizzle. So bench some Sobbles, bench another V, and then pass over to my opponent, because why not? All right, yeah, we're definitely going to see a little bit more of my opponent's deck now, I guess, as we're going to misplay there, and then let my opponent have an extra turn with his Calyrex V. There's an Articuno, the Cincino. If I had to guess, I'm going to go ahead and make a guess here. I'm going to guess that they're playing Mad Party with Shadow Rider. Otherwise, it just kind of seems weird to include stuff like the Articuno and the Cincino into a Shadow Rider deck, but I guess it could be. It could also be, actually, you know what it might be? It might be Mewtwo v Union. I think it's Mewtwo v Union Shadow Rider. I think that's what we've got here is Mewtwo v Union Shadow Rider. I think that's the deck we're up against here. I put myself a little bit behind, obviously, but we're gonna get back into it on this next turn and start to take over this game for sure. Not gonna let that slow me down too much. Crushing Hammer top deck. Do we want to use it? I'm not sure. Could you go for like a research here, which is what I'm kind of leaning towards. I want to get the quick shooting online more so than anything. So I think I'm just gonna go for a research. I don't really want to get a that dude online. I want to go with a quick shooting here. So let's throw out a crushing hammer. Let's get a heads. Love to see it. And then yeah, Drizzile. Let's go for that crushing hammer or research. Sheesh, losing my mind. Research. And we'll get rid of the Inteleon. I could have evolved on the active, but like I said, I want to get the quick shootings out. And hey, there's some quick shootings. I want to start pinging this Calyrex. I could play the escape rope actually, and I think I like that a little bit more than just going with the hard retreat off the Drizzile here. And then we have an evolution instance for next turn to get out another Drizzile to probably use a Melanie. Shooting online. And then, yeah, let's start making some pings happen. Because I don't really want a 2-hit KO there. Shadow Rider VMAX, to be honest. We kind of want to 1-hit KO it. So if I can start the pings, that's weird. If I can start the pinging now, it's going to be so much easier, right? If I get the quick shooting online this turn, get that first ping, definitely going to be able to build enough quick shootings to be able to pull off like a 1-hit KO on this, or an effectively 1-hit KO. We're not going to be able to actually 1-hit KO it next turn, because even if I ping it twice more, plus a full max lance, or a full damage max lance, we're only doing 310 damage total. But then next turn I quick shooting it, and it's like I effectively 1-hit KO it because I only have to attack it once. We don't want to attack it twice is basically what we're trying to avoid. And we are able to avoid that if we get enough pings on there fast enough. And there is the Mewtwo's head. So it is the Mewtwo V Union. My initial guess, I don't think my initial guess was terrible of Mad Party, but yeah, I should have made the guess that it was a Mewtwo V Union deck. It makes a little bit more sense. I'm pretty much the only person playing Mad Party around on the ladder these days, so yeah, it makes sense. Articuno V coming down, another one, and yeah, they're resetting up just fine. Draw supporter, I'm sure, is what they're looking for here, or a Calyrex VMAX to go ahead and excel some energy into play as well, because they have just not had a good go of it so far. Let's see if they play Crobat or not. They do. Okay, so that should be able to hopefully draw them into something to work with here. I know it sounds like I'm rooting for my opponent, but I kind of am at this point. I want to see them pull off the Mewtwo V Union. I think it'll be probably a little bit too late at this point for them to get the dub through it, but I still kind of want to see it happen, to be honest. Here comes the Evolution Incense. All right, they got the Calyrex VMAX online. Here they go. Calyrex VMAX, going to be able to start accelerating some energy into play through the Underworld door. Still like a little ways away from the Mewtwo, of course. They only have one piece in there, but it is possible, you know, they draw into a couple more pieces, play a research and so on, and then boom, it's in play, ready to start swinging, but they're not going to be swinging with it for another turn or two, to be honest. So I guess we're not quite ready to start swinging. Here comes the level ball, another Cincino getting set up, or I assume that's what they're going to be grabbing unless they prize them. I wonder how much of a Cincino line they actually play in this deck, to be honest. Probably like a 2-2, maybe a 3-3. It doesn't seem like he'd play a very thick line of Cincino, though, because I don't think it fits very well to play a very thick line of Cincino. You could, I guess, but I don't think it makes a whole ton of sense to play, like, you know, a very thick line of Cincino. It doesn't really make a whole ton of sense. You don't have the bench space for it constantly because you're like setting up Shadow Riders. I wonder if they cut into their Shadow Rider line as well. Are they playing like a 2-2 Shadow Rider or a 3-3 Shadow Rider? At least a 2-2. I doubt they'd go with a 1-1 because you want to be able to set up the Mewtwo's attacks in one turn, and they take triple energy. So you need at least 2 VMAXs on board to set up the Mewtwo in one turn as they get the leg into the discard pile now. So they're getting there. They got the leg in the discard pile. I think it's going to be a little bit too little leg too late, though. And yeah, this is going to be I think we're going to get a pretty clean dub here. I have to decide what do I want to do next turn. I have the boss play, so I could like boss max lance something, but I also could just Melanie and attach and then save the boss play for the following turn as well. Like I don't need to boss next turn. I just kind of could. Another Shadow Rider V online. Like I could go punch the VMAX. Actually, the VMAX might punch me. So I think we're just gonna punch the VMAX back here, and we'll set up the benched Calyrex V on the bench. So let's go with this bucket first. Gonna go ahead and grab a couple energy, thin out the deck because I don't want to Melanie into those energy. And then yeah, go ahead and Melanie here. Draw some cards. Evolve here. Crushing Hammer doesn't really matter. I guess Crushing Hammer could matter because they get to attack with this again. So let's go ahead and throw the Crushing Hammer out there. Tails. Evolve. Double quick shooting the active. Attach to the bench. And then yeah, max hit once again. Do I want a Training Court? No, I'll probably just leave it in play because they probably don't have a way to remove Training Court. So I can kind of just use it whenever I want, to be honest. Which it feels like whenever I go up against Shadow Rider, it's like one thing that's just kind of a big plus. It's just like, if they just put the Training Court in play and I just don't put my stadium in play, they get to constantly use their Training Court. And sometimes it feels like it is more of a benefit to me than it is a benefit for my opponent. But yeah, looks like we have this one just about wrapped up, to be honest. We're a quick shooting away from knocking out the Shadow Rider. We also didn't KO it, so they don't have bench space to even set up something like the Mewtwo on the next turn. They can't even set it up because we didn't take a knockout this turn, so they literally just can't bench it. They don't have the bench space. So just looking really good. Just looking really good, to be honest. We're just in a really good spot. Quick shooting that, and then yeah, we should be able to just boss KO whatever we want on the following turn, or maybe even just like knock out their active, to be honest. For the current situation that they're in, we might just be able to knock out their active. They are looking to set up a second VMAX here to swing with, and they will have 6 energy in play, but that's actually just short. They need 7 energy in play to knock us out. I guess if they get a third VMAX and an attachment for turn, yeah, we didn't get the Crushing Hammer heads. If we'd gotten the Crushing Hammer heads, they wouldn't be able to knock us out with a Shadow Rider VMAX, but we did get tails, so they actually can make the knockout happen with the VMAX. But like I said, it shouldn't matter. We can just attach. They'll knock us out. We'll attach here. We'll boss. We'll ping. We'll knock out. We'll knock out. We can't knock out another of these immediately, so we couldn't knock out this. But to be honest, we could probably go through this before our opponent has a chance to win the game as well. So that's not really stopping us either. We could have just KO'd 2 of these VMAXs to close it out. But we only have 4 prize cards, so we may as well just go with the boss play and close out the game a little bit sooner. Definitely no reason to not just close it out a little bit sooner, to be honest. Comes to Articuno, so they don't have the VMAX yet. And they actually got rid of, what does that want to do? They got rid of another another V unit. The other leg hits the discard pile. Yeah, search your deck for 2 cards and discard them. And then here comes a Marnie. Okay, so it is possible we whiff the boss now. We also don't have the energy. I guess we still have the trading card, so we still have access to the energy. But there we go. Air Balloon. We can make sure we can move our Calyrex. And then we have the Evolution Incense, which can get us the Drizzile, which I'm sure we have one of those. Yeah, we have at least 1 Drizzile left in the deck. I'm almost sure. Yeah, trading card gives us the energy. So shout out to my opponent for that one. Not that they shouldn't have put it in play. It's just like something we can constantly take use of, which is definitely something you guys want to think about before you just kind of replace your opponent's stadium. Ask yourself what it can do for you, and if it really matters that your opponent has access to it, because sometimes it doesn't matter that they have access to their own stadium, and it actually does more for you than your opponent. And maybe your opponent shouldn't have put it in play to begin with, whether that be something like Trading Court, or I mean another one that always used to come up was Viridian Forest. Before rotation happened, Viridian Forest was always like, well, do I really want to give my opponent access to Viridian Forest? How much is it doing for me this turn and potentially in my future turns? Because my opponent's going to be able to utilize it as well. Same thing with like the training cord here. Definitely want to take a second before you put it in play. Make sure you're going to be able to utilize it more than your opponent is. Make sure it's not putting you at a disadvantage for kind of putting it in play. Otherwise, just don't put it in play. You just don't have to, right? Just don't put... Oh, and my opponent feeds me the Cincino, so we're going to go ahead and max lands for 1 and take the knockout. I was like, well, they should probably set up the Shadow Rider. They probably will set up the Shadow Rider. Maybe they didn't notice that I had 1 prize card left. But yeah, pretty clean dub in this first one. Not too difficult at all. All right, here we go again. Another coin flip dub, so we're going first. But I see that they have a metal deck box, which makes me a little bit nervous because it could be Zacian, and we have no way... We have no way to hit Zamazenta besides using Suicune. I was going to say we have no way to hit Zamazenta, but then I remembered the Suicune. I was like, wait, we do have a way. But it is Zacian. Still going to be a tough one, though, I think, overall, for sure. Because we do have to use, like, VMAX as the 1 KO Zacians, which, like, kind of gives my opponent, you know, I mean, 3 prizes. Pretty good amount of prize cards to take. We're going to hope that it doesn't go too poorly for us, and we can end out on top overall. We're, like, we have a lot of top deck outs here, so we don't have a great hand next turn, but we have a lot of top deck outs. There's a lot of things we can top deck to get this attack off, and we gotta start getting quick shootings up as soon as possible to start quick shooting the Zamacentas that I'm sure are on the way from my opponent. Also, without quick shooting, we actually can't KO through Cape. We don't play Tool Scrapper, so it's like another thing we have to do here is find the quick shootings just so we can get the knockouts on these Zacians as well. And they actually go with everything on the active. You can put the energy there. I guess it makes sense. We can't really KO this, right? So I guess if we play Tool Scrapper, we could, though, but we don't. I guess my opponent doesn't know that, though. It would almost make sense to kind of... Well, I guess they don't know. They don't know I play Crushing Hammer. I was gonna say if I get Crushing Hammer heads, they want the one on the bench. Go with the boss, but we do have Air Balloon and Escape Rope. Don't have much else to work with, but we do have Air Balloon and Escape Rope, I guess, going for us here. And there's the energy hit. Draw into a bucket, so we can hit the Zacian, but unless I get a Crushing Hammer heads, which I do, I don't really want to. But we did get the Crushing Hammer heads. I'm gonna go with the bucket here. And I am just going to hard retreat the Sobble so I can play the Melanie here. Because I do want to draw more cards. So we're going to go with the hard retreat, the Melanie, to the active, draw 3. Another Crushing Hammer. Let's get another heads. Hey, pretty good. Not bad at all. Love to see it. And then we could ride the High King for 40, but I think we should max Lance for 1 discard here because we do want to be able to 2-hit KO this thing. Yeah, I do want to be able to 2-hit KO this thing. And if I just hit it for 40, then they could put the Stadium in play, heal 30, and then 250 next turn will only equal 260 with that heal. So I think we should definitely go like this. We would have loved to have gotten a Drizzile out here as well. We missed that, which is kind of unfortunate, and missed getting a Drizzile because once again, getting Quick Shooting online gives us to the Capes of Toughness on the Zacian and can start putting some damage on Zamazenta when that does finally make its way into play. If it does, I'm assuming it would make its way into play at some point, the Zamazenta. So we'll see. But if they don't put Zamazenta in play, then we have a pretty clear route of just having to go through 3 Zacians. So I wouldn't mind it if it doesn't make its way into play. I'm just kind of assuming that it will make its way into play. We'll have to see. But yep, there we go. Zamazenta. So that's what we need this Suicune for. But we also quick shooting damage because Suicune is definitely not going to 1-hit KO, or probably not going to 1-hit KO the Zamazenta. I don't think my opponent's going to fill their bench. But if they do, I guess we could get this Suicune to get the 1-hit KO, to be honest. We could get the 1-hit KO. But it'll probably have a cape as well. So Suicune probably won't 1-hit KO Zamazenta. So building up some quick shooting damage on there as soon as possible would be great. Of course, like I said, it kind of involves us actually having Drizziles and Sobbles, which we only have 1 Sobble, nothing else in that department. So we need some more Sobbles, we need some Drizziles to become Inteleons, then we need those Inteleons, start doing that quick shooting damage to my opponent's Zamazenta, so it can make a little bit easier of a time for our Suicune here. So that's what we're kind of playing towards here. And then yeah, okay, another phone whiff there from my opponent, and then a whiff off the Intrepid Sword as well. No energy hits, so that's good for us as well. There's the Evolution Incense. Go ahead and grab ourselves Drizzile, and I think I'm just gonna go for a Melanie here and set up some extra energy in play on my active. Just get extra energy in play here. How many energy do I have left? 4. So we have plenty of energy left, I think. Melanie on the active. Draw some cards. No Sobble again. I don't like it, and I don't really want to attach a Suicune here though either. Doesn't feel great. I think I'm still just gonna attach active and then max Lance. Because if we do get Marnied here, having the extra energy there is going to make it that much easier to attack on the following turn. We do have access to 1 quick shooting next turn, which is okay, but I would have really loved to have gotten a Sobble in play. Calyrex V is a great hit. Drizzile, not great because we don't have Sobble. Yeah, Sobble is really what we're looking for here to get in play, because now if we get Marnied or something like that, my opponent's going to be able to just kind of make it hard for me to potentially keep into the game. Like, you never know when the Marnie's just going to kind of put us out of business, so really always want Sobbles in play to help us. That way if we draw into Drizziles, Level Balls, Evolution Incenses, that all becomes outs to Drizzile, which becomes outs to literally any trainer card we want, which can usually always get us out of those tricky situations. So that's why we really want to consistently have a Sobble in play if we can find one. That's the hard part sometimes, though, apparently, is finding that Sobble. So that's what we're looking for. Have not found it yet, but hopefully we can make our way into it. Hopefully find that and get that doing something. That'd be great. We could go with we can't go with a boss, but I was gonna say we could go with if we had a Sobble down, could go boss KOzation. We don't have a boss, or we don't have a Sobble, so we can't boss KOzation here. That's what we would like to do. They're actually setting up the Zamazenta though, so maybe we don't have to worry too much about that boss play, and we might just try and go after the Zamazenta this turn, just get a swing off with the Suicune. I think that's what we're gonna want to do here. I do have to be a little bit careful, because the Zacian could come out of nowhere and 1-hit KO my Suicune. But, I mean, they would need quite a big play. We'll see if they hit anything off this Intrepid Sword. They did hit 2 energy. So if we top deck boss here, I wouldn't mind KOing that. Oh, we did not top deck a boss. So, I don't really want to hit the Zamazenta, then just have my Suicune get knocked out by Zamazenta. But maybe it wouldn't be too bad, and then maybe we can clean it up with Quick Shooting and Waterfall from the Inteleon. So maybe it's not that bad. Yeah, maybe it's not that bad. All right, let's go with Melanie to the Suicune. Fan of Waves obviously isn't going to be very good. We want to hit for max damage, I think, if we can. Fleet-footed. So we really want a basic Pokemon here. There we go. Sobble. Suicune V. Or Calyrex V. Get this guy online. Match active. Quick Ball with the Fan of Waves. That's going to be useless in this matchup. Get another Sobble into play. Now, here are all these Sobbles that we've been looking for. And then, yeah, quick shooting the Zamazenta, and then we're going to hit it with that Blizzard Rondo and take, not the knockout, take a pretty good chunk out of this Zamazenta, though. 160. So even if they start healing, we can keep maybe quick shooting it, but we can really, so we can get the 1-hit KO on this station with this Calyrex VMAX. If they 1-hit KO our Suicune this turn, which it looks like they're probably going to go for here, they did get the Stadium to heal it, then we have to set up the waterfall from this Inteleon, which shouldn't be too difficult, to be honest. I think we'll definitely be able to set that up. And then we can start using waterfall to actually knock out this Zamazenta. And then that should be it. I think we have this one pretty much locked up. Usually a pretty difficult matchup, but our opponent has yet to play a draw supporter, to be honest. So that's like been a pretty big help. But they've kind of set up pretty fine, to be honest. We had a great aggressive start on them, which is definitely something we want. Double crushing hammer heads, of course. Those were very helpful there to slow my opponent down. How important were they? I don't really know for sure, but it was pretty good, right? It was pretty good. So that was good. And yeah, so far we've been kind of chugging along just fine here. I guess one thing I'm a little bit, like, we're almost out of Melanie. A little bit worried about. We're almost out of Melanie, so I have to make sure I can chase the Zam. I should be able to chase this Zamazenta, though. I shouldn't have to be too worried about that. Chase it and knock it out with his Inteleon. But it's possible that they set up another station and one-hit KO this Calyrex, and then all I'm stuck with is an Inteleon as an attacker, which wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good at all. They're actually chasing my other Calyrex V here. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's good for us. We actually have Escape Rope plus Boss, so we can actually go KO this Zacian, and then we should just be in a ridiculously good spot, I think. Escape Rope plus Boss, so we just need the energy to pull off the play. So if we just go with the Shady Dealings here, should be able to just grab the bucket, and I think we have 4 water energy left. I'm more so concerned with trying to get multiple water energy in play in the same turn. And then Escape Rope, they're going to send up the Orangaroo, then we're going to boss up the Zacian, knock out the Zacian, and then they have the Zamazenta in play with 1 energy, and that is it. So I think we're just kind of now we're in a really good spot. Before I was like, it still seems a little bit close, but now I think we have got this one basically locked up. Boss, usually a pretty difficult matchup, but slow start from our opponent, taking great advantage of the kind of the room our opponent is giving us turn to turn here. Definitely taking advantage of everything we possibly can. Get this knockout. We don't have a ton of energy left, though. We don't have a ton of energy acceleration left. We only have 1 Melanie left. We do have a decent amount of energy left. I'm not really worried about energy total, but making sure we can attack with whatever we want definitely is going to be a little bit tricky at this point, I think, for sure. We definitely don't have the option to attack with anything we want every single turn. Kind of losing those options for sure. But they're setting up a Zamazenta, which I have no fear of because we still have this Suicune in play. And if we have second boss in the deck, which to be honest, I don't know if it's in there or not. But if it is, should be a pretty clean knockout here on the Zamazenta. Here comes a Marnie. But we got a Sobble set up, so the out to Drizzile is there. And that's always something important you want to try and have online. And hey, there is that Drizzile I was talking about. So we can easily evolve to the Sobble to the Drizzile, get that boss, bring up that Zamazenta, and then knock it out. As long as it's in the deck. To be honest, I actually don't know for sure if it's in the deck or not. But I wouldn't even hate just attacking with Suicune here, and then, pinging the Zamazenta with a couple quick shootings, and then, maybe even try and get an energy on this Inteleon just in case that a Zacian gets set up out of nowhere, because it's very possible my opponent can still set up a Zacian out of nowhere. They still have 2 Metal Saucer. I guess it's possible, not super likely though, actually, to be honest. Now that I see that they only have 2 Metal Saucer, probably not the most likely. But let's see if we get the boss here or not. It's in the deck. So there we go. Gonna boss up this Zamazenta, and then we're doing 120, 140. So we do have to quick shooting once here to make sure we get the knock, because it does have 160 HP left between the heal and the heal and the cape. Almost kept it out of range there, but yeah, the quick shooting will do it. And we had another quick shooting in the hand, so it really wasn't that big of a deal either way there. We're gonna probably be getting the knockout no matter what. All right, we lost the coin flip in this one, so we're definitely gonna be seeing what it feels like to go second. I mean, not with this hand, though, because it's a mulligan, so we're needing a new hand. But yeah, going second in this one, which isn't really that much worse than going first, or doesn't feel that much worse overall with Ice Rider. As long as our opponent doesn't get, a boss KO on our V, and we don't, open one lone V, because then it kind of can be a little bit scary about our opponent kind of limiting the option for the VMAX on the next turn. But that's sometimes where Suicune can come into play and kind of really help us out to get us, an attacker out of nowhere, which can be just really, really nice sometimes. That's what the power of the Suicune does kind of give us, just getting us an attacker out of nowhere. Because, yeah, the VMAX need a turn to evolve it, which we sometimes don't always have. We don't always have that turn to evolve. So sometimes that Suicune, the game changer for sure. But yeah, let's get rid of this mulligan. Let's get ourselves a new hand. And got the Sobble start with a level ball and a net. So we can probably go with a keep calling play off the start here. And then just, well, then we don't have an Ice Rider, I guess. So I kind of do want an Ice Rider. So I guess we're not going to keep calling here. Well, we might still keep calling. We just can't fully have that be our own play. Ooh, we're up against Urshifu. So Urshifu has actually always kind of been a rough matchup for Ice Rider. They can just kind of take your Inteleons out of play, and then you just don't have Inteleons anymore. But they're playing Great Ball, so I think they're probably playing the Moltres build of Urshifu, which I think is definitely a little bit better of a matchup than the Inteleon build. The Inteleon build I think is definitely a little bit more difficult to handle, but if it's just this build, definitely have a little bit better of a time. I mean, we'll see here soon. And another thing is they could whiff that turn 1 energy, and if they whiff that turn 1 energy, they don't have the option of that turn 2 GMAX rapid flow, which means we can you know, get ahead that way, or not. They can't get too far ahead that way over us. But yeah, it is the Moltres build. Let's see if they do have the energy. So yeah, turn 2 GMAX rapid flow is a possibility for my opponent. But if we can get, okay, now with this quick ball top deck, we definitely could just go the route of keep calling. Could even give up the research here, to be honest. Keep the energy, so that's one less thing I have to find on my next turn. And then go for the Calyrex V. Bench that, make sure we can get to the VMAX. And then, yeah, keep calling. Get the whole Sobble squad. So now if they get the GMAX Rapid Flow, they can only take out 2 of my Sobbles and not, you know, 2 of my 4 Sobbles instead of 2 of maybe my 2 Sobbles, which would be really bad because then we don't have access to any Drizzile on the next turn. But yeah, just going to be 2 out of 4. So we still got some Sobbles to work. We'll definitely have some Sobbles to work with on the next turn. But let's see how good of a turn my opponent has here. Yeah, the Urshifu setup. They have the option for the GMAX Rapid Flow. Gale Thrust is definitely going to be a little bit more difficult of an option. And it's actually just a strafe to the bench. So apparently their hand is just kind of dead besides this. And we can actually do a really cool escape rope play here now to actually KO the Urshifu and completely remove that threat from play. That's definitely what we want to look to do here. So we can go, you know, do this. We're going to go ahead and grab this. Check for the escape rope. The escape rope is there. So oh my gosh, we prize 3 Melanie. What? Who does that? All right, but we're going to hopefully get one off the prize cards. Do this. Say yes. Going to go ahead and get ourselves the escape rope. We're going to go ahead and scoop up net the Drizzile. One of the reasons that escape rope is so good is when your opponent just plays with a small bench early on like this, whether they're forced to, or, you know, they just don't draw more basics to work with, which definitely seems to be the case here for my opponent. We can take advantage of that. We can use this escape rope early on and super aggressively here. I kind of want to get another Drizzile in play, though, to have the option for more quick shootings next turn. So I'm going to do this, throw it down, and then actually just grab myself a level ball to have access to another Drizzile on the following turn. So we're going to have the option of another Drizzile, but we're going to keep 2 Sobbles open here. And then, yeah, escape rope. I'm not going to play the Crushing Hammer because they don't have any dark energy in their discard pile right now. So they might not be able to get this knockout. They might not be able to actually use the ability next turn unless I put the energy in the discard pile for them. So might just be kind of not helping them, but like giving them a reason to use the ability. There's a Melanie off the prize cards. I was going to be a little bit worried if we didn't hit a Melanie here because then we actually can't attack next turn on our turn at all. We'd have to go attach pass. So if we didn't get a Melanie here, I was going to be a little bit nervous. And then we have 2 Melanie left in the prize card. So when we get this next knockout, if it's not on a VMAX, do kind of have to hope that we get a... you do kind of have to hope that we get another Melanie, to be honest. We're going to need another Melanie, or we're going to have to wait a turn. I guess waiting a turn is not the end of the world, to be honest. So it wouldn't be the worst thing ever, but would definitely prefer to have access to a Melanie, to have that as an option here. And my opponent does have a Raihan here. So going to get themselves that energy, the fighting energy onto the Moltres. They can hit us with Moltres this turn, and I'm sure the other card from Raihan probably has to be a Quick Ball. No, they're just going for the Aura Burn. I was going to say Quick Ball for Crobat, so they could draw more cards, hopefully get energy and attack. But now they just lose to Melanie, which it's going to be pretty likely that we have, and we do have it. So pretty clean dub here in this one. Really sick escape rope play to begin with. I don't know how much the escape rope play actually mattered, but I definitely thought it was cool personally. So yeah, really like the escape rope play on the start there. Yeah, how much did it actually matter because our opponent was drawing that poorly? Who knows? But they would have been able to set up Urshifu VMAX, and then use the Raihan on it, and then use the GMAX Rapid Flow, and then we couldn't win the next turn if we didn't KO the Urshifu. So then they would get 2 prize cards to work with, and who really knows where the game goes from there, right? So definitely better clean it up as soon as possible instead of letting our opponent get too many turns that you know, they don't need to have. Going second again. I doubt we're gonna have as good of a or as easy of a time as we did in the last one, but going second again, have that keep calling option. And this is why I still really like the 60 HP in Melanie decks, because you can, you know, even if you attach your first energy to the Sobble on your first turn, you still got a good out to attack on the following turn. And we are up against Dragapult here, which is a fine matchup, especially the Crushing Hammer are really good in this matchup. So is the Fan of Waves. So yeah, definitely a fine matchup here. Gonna use that keep calling on this first turn, and we're gonna probably want to quick ball away our top deck here because we want to keep the Evolution Incense to get a Drizzile. So we want to quick ball away the top deck to get a V. So hopefully that is a, or we could just get the, you know what, that works. Yeah, and then I think keep calling. I'm not going to really play anything else. I don't think I really need to go ahead and grab ourselves triple Sobble. So the whole squad decided to show up today. Looks like we prized a quick shooting and a V as well, but great top deck in the V there then for sure. Plenty of Melanie. Yeah, triple Sobble. And yeah, our opponent probably going to be aiming to... They actually got down triple Sobble themselves too. Sheesh, all right. They're probably going to be aiming to knock out double Sobble here as long as they can find their ZigZagoon and so on. So that's probably going to be my opponent's game plan here. And then we're going to be looking for some Crushing Hammers because that's a really good card in this matchup. They're super reliant on energy attachments turn to turn. So if we can ever take those away from them, can really set them back in chaining attackers one after the other. So gonna be definitely looking to dig deep for some Crushing Hammers. And then overall kind of hope that our opponent actually doesn't KO my Sobble here. That'd be great if they whiff the knockout. And then we're gonna try and get our Drizzles into quick shootings as soon as possible. There's the ZigZagoon. So double Sobble, like I said, probably going down here. They do have a lot of outs to the ZigZagoon. And they're actually going after my favorite Sobble here too. That one's my favorite. Going with another Goon Ping here is... Wait, that's just weird, isn't it? It just doesn't seem like it does. Do they think it has 70 HP? All right, they just get an extra damage here, but they just didn't need to do it yet. That's kind of just like a wasted scoop up net. It's like kind of a wasted scoop up net. Yeah, it's just kind of a wasted scoop up net. There's nothing else to really say, to be honest. It's just a wasted scoop up net. But I mean, yeah, to each their own, I guess. If you want to waste your scoop up nets, it's fine by me. Fine by me. So let's go ahead and let's get ourselves a Melanie. Maybe they're so used to playing against 70 HP Sobbles, they're just like, all right, I gotta ping it twice. And like, oh wait, the thing kind of has 60 HP. They just use keep calling. Melanie to the active draw. Gonna go for a Crushing Hammer. I don't see a better thing to go for here. It feels kind of weird to do this play, but yeah, it definitely is correct here. I think try and reduce that energy in play whenever we have a chance to kind of search for the Crushing Hammer. So let's go ahead and get a heads. There we go, Crushing Hammer off the Dragapult. Now this is a huge deal because now we're gonna be able to hit this Dragapult here with the Ride of the High King. Next turn we can KO it with Max Lance, and if they want to Max Phantom this turn, they want to attach another energy here in Max Phantom, the next turn they can't Max Phantom again because they can't bench a Dragapult this turn and attach it. They could still make a Raihan play happen. That is still possible. They can definitely make a Raihan play happen. So that's like still something that they can do. They can still Max Phantom next turn. It's just gonna be a little bit harder, right? They can't play the Research. They can't play the Marnie. They have to get specifically Raihan and then have the other cards in the hand to work with. So yeah, looking pretty good though. This feels pretty good. Got that Crushing Hammer heads. Force them, if they want to Max Phantom on the next turn, to have the Raihan play. So they not only need the Raihan, they have to like find the VMAX and the energy as well. So they need one of those in hand alongside the Raihan. So there's a Marnie from my opponent. Not too worried about it though. And we will have to discard double energy for the Max Lance to actually take the knockout next turn, which doesn't feel great, to be honest. I don't really want to discard double energy, but don't really have a choice. The draw it's all right, I guess. Nothing too ridiculous. We can get a quick shooting, get this Inteleon online. Could use the Shady Dealings. Actually, we might just evolve the other one to the quick shooting and just keep this Inteleon around for the next turn is what I'm kind of feeling here. Fog Crystal from my opponent. Psychic Energy. Boom. They get the attack off. No knockouts, though. And we might just go for like a quick shooting. I'm going to bench this for sure. And then we're going to get the knockout here. Definitely. I almost want to like get an energy down here. So if I top deck an energy, I'll probably put an energy here as well. But we'll see what we top deck. Top deck is Suicune. And I don't think I'm going to do anything with that Suicune. That Sheer. I mean, I could go get a Bucket and a Melanie off this, or like even a Bucket and a Research. But I could also just take the knockout and just hold this as an option. I feel like I like a little bit more. But I could set up a little bit more aggressively. Here. Bucket and Research. Okay, let's do it. I'm down. Bucket and Research. Thin out the hand of a couple cards as well. Bucket, guarantee the energy, and then Research. We could go with Marnie as well. They only have a 4-card hand, but they've had time to like work with the hand. So probably, to be honest, Marnie was probably better there. Would also conserve the Evolution Incense, which I don't hate having around, to be honest. The Evolution Incense going back to the deck does sound not bad. Some energy removal will be great for the future. I'm gonna go ahead and actually thin out this Drizzile here because we don't really need it anymore. Then I'll quick ball away the Drizzile. Grab myself a Calyrex V. I'm not going to quick ball that away. We might still want access to another V. It's possible. So I'm going to hold on to that. Just going to thin out the other stuff. And then go with this Max Lance. Discard 2 energy. And take this knockout. And then fully, like I said, putting our opponent on the Raihan play. They have to use Raihan this turn, which means we're not going to get Marnied. I mean, we could still get Marnied, but then they don't get to attack the turn. So we're kind of fine if we get Marnied, I guess would be the thing. We're just kind of fine if we get Marnied because, yeah, that means they're not using Max Phantom, but they send up the Dragapult, so they probably have access to the Raihan here. We'll see here in a second for sure, but if I had to guess, I would assume my opponent has access to the Raihan here if they're sending up the Dragapult. And actually, they're not too far away from winning this game if they do get off the Max Phantom, because they can hit my active Calyrex VMAX, and then they can set up some damage on this Inteleon. And to be honest, make it pretty difficult for me from there. Here comes the Evolution Incense. So if they have the Shady Dealings Inteleon, they can definitely pull off a Max Phantom this turn. Actually, this is looking pretty close. I felt like I was in a way more comfortable spot the whole time, but the Crushing Hammer, not being a super early Crushing Hammer, I guess, yeah, being able to play around the Raihan here. There's the Raihan, there's the Evolution Incense. So Raihan to get energy, and then Evolution Incense to get the VMAX. Gonna put us in a little bit of a spot. Yeah, I think I definitely should have played Marnie instead of Research on the last draw supporter I played, because like they had access to the hand for the turn, so they kind of played around that, which means if I'd been able to take away that option, that would have been better overall, I think. Evolution Incense again coming down from my opponent, so I expect probably a Quick Shooting to come out here. They could go with like Drizzile to Quick Shooting as well. That wouldn't be terrible. But we'll see what they end up grabbing. And I'm assuming they have an energy here to work with. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that they have an energy to work with. Otherwise, they probably wanted to grab an energy off the Raihan if they didn't, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume they have it. They have the Max Phantom, so they can hit my active and then hit this Inteleon. And then from there, apparently it's prized. Maybe they didn't grab energy, or they were going to go for Drizzile for Fall Crystal for energy and didn't have that. Either way, I don't think they were pulling off a Max Phantom that turn, because otherwise it makes no sense to concede, but there's the concession. So I guess, hey, that's a dub. And that's going to do it for the games with the Ice Rider deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give the video a like. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Check out the live stream, first link in the description, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.